Praise the Lord. We've been talking about fear, and amen. Praise the Lord, and we define fear as an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. And we've talked about fear as far as a phobia and as far as timidity is what we've been talking about. And I want to go, told you all last week that faith is not initiated on past experience because you are hoping for something that you have not seen or described. And fear is based on past experiences. And we left off on Numbers chapter 13, and we're going to go back there in a minute, but let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 13. 1 Samuel chapter 13. I'm going to start reading at verse number 5. Verse number 5. We there? We ready? All right, it says, and the Philistines gathered themselves together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and pitched in Michmash, eastward from Beth-aven. When the men of Israel saw that they were in a strait, for the people were distressed, then the people did hide themselves in caves and in thickets and in rocks and in high places and in pits. And some of the Hebrews went over Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. As for Saul, he was yet in Gilgal, and all the people followed him trembling. And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed. But Samuel came not to Gilgal, and the people were scattered from him. And Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering, the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him. Samuel said, what hast thou done? And Saul said, because I saw the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash. Therefore said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Lord. I forced myself therefore, and offered a burnt offering. Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly. Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Lord thy God, which he commanded thee. For now would the Lord have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever. But now thy kingdom shall not continue. The Lord hath sought him a man after his own heart, and the Lord hath commanded him to be captain over his people, because thou hast not kept that which the Lord commanded thee. I didn't even pray, y'all. Father, we thank you for the way that you've made, doors that you've opened. And thank you for this time. I ask that you give me what to say and how to say it, rightly divide your word. Bless me to teach your truth, not my opinion. In Jesus' name, and let it edify your people. Give me what to say. Anoint the message, anoint the delivery, anoint the ears to hear. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Saul was getting ready to fight the Philistines, basically. And the Philistines gathered, and Saul got scared because the Philistines started gathering against Israel. And even the people themselves that were following Saul got scared, started running, started hiding. And Saul and Samuel had told Saul, I'm going to be here at this certain time. I'm coming to Gilgal. And when I get there, basically, I'm paraphrasing, we get there, we're going to make a sacrifice, we're going to pray, we're going to do all that stuff, and everything going to be ready for when you go to battle. But what happened was Samuel took his time in coming. As Saul saw that the Philistines were coming, and all the people were scared, and so he decides, he says, I got to pray. I got to get in touch with God, and my prophet is not here to get in touch with God, and I got to get in touch with him. And he's not here. Bring me a calf. Let's go ahead and do the sacrifice, so I can make sacrifice to God. But here's the deal: his fear made him disobey the instructions of God. And because he was afraid, because he was fearful, what happens is now, even though Saul later on go ahead and they take care of things, even though that happens, the truth of the matter is Saul has his future sentence pronounced on him, because the tradition says when you die, your oldest son becomes king, and the dynasty continues. But now Samuel has now pronounced pronounced judgment saying, hey, you will not have a dynasty. Now Saul had, once again, Samuel hadn't said that Saul was going to die in the battle which he later on died. What caused him to die in the battle that he had died in was when he didn't follow the command of letting the king letting the king live and all that stuff. What happens later on, about 2 chapters later. But what happens here, now he has guaranteed that he will not have a dynasty, because he allowed his fear to cause him to make bad decisions. Understand this: fear will cause you to make bad decisions.
Amen.
Let me say that again so that I want to make sure I know we're tired and, waiting on the internet man to get things fixed and all this stuff. Lord, hallelujah. But say this with me: fear will cause you to make bad decisions. It goes to what I have been saying for 4 years here at Changing Lives Worldwide Ministries, where Kevin Genus is the senior pastor and our co-pastor is the Honorable Bishop Penny Genus. I've been saying it for 4 years. Don't let your emotions write you a check that your reality can't cash.
Come on now. Amen. Amen.
Saul got into an emotional decision because he got afraid, and now he made the wrong choice. Amen?
Amen.
Let's go back to Numbers chapter 13. I'm trying to decide how much of this chapter I'm going to read, because I want to bring some things up here. Verse number 27, let's start there, and I'll fill in the beginning of it again. Again, if somebody could just check the camera to make sure the camera is right, because it doesn't look like it's facing me at all. It looks like it's facing the door over there. And
We got you.
it's good. Oh, praise the Lord. Amen. Amen. Numbers chapter 13, verse 27. It reads, "And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou sentest us, as surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruit thereof. Nevertheless, the people be strong, and that strong that dwell in that land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. Caleb stilled the people before Moses, said, Let us go up at once, possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the Lord, which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land to which we have gone to search it, it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, which come up of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight." What happens up until this point, Moses sends, I talked about this last week, Moses sent the 12 spies to spy out the promised land. They came back and said everything is just as good as you said it, if not better. you know, and it's great. And 10 of them said, hey, it's great, but them people, we don't mess with that. We worried about the wrong thing. Them people there, there's something to deal with, and we're not able to handle those people. And Caleb steals the people and said, let's do it at once. Let's go now. Caleb was ready. Caleb was ready, and they said, no. The other 10 was like, no. And Joshua was ready. The other 10 was like, no, They're giants there. And they're giants, and compared to them, we're just grasshoppers. They had fear. So I want to talk about things to know about fear. Things to know about fear. And I think I have 6. I do have 6 that I want to deal with. Okay? Things to know about fear. Number 1. So we'll say number 1.
Number 1.
Your flesh is designed to protect itself. Your flesh is designed to protect itself. It's also designed to only get what it wants. You know, if you haven't noticed by now, your flesh doesn't care about nothing else but getting what it wants. You know, but the other thing that it cares about just as important is it is designed to protect itself. Have you ever noticed that when you have a trip on something and you're about to fall, your arms and everything automatically goes to try to steady you. It does it automatically. You don't have to think about it. You don't try to. You're not planning it. All of a sudden, everything. You know, your whole body goes like that because your flesh is designed to protect itself. What do? Well, after in chapter 14 of Numbers, what they decide to do is they mourn and they wept, and then they say what? Let's make a captain and go back to Egypt. Let's go back to the place that we cried for over 400 years to get out of. Let's go back there. Let's go back to be. See, maybe they didn't realize they were saying this, but they say, let's go back to being slaves. Let's go back to making brick without straw. Let's go back to getting beat by our slave taskmasters. Let's go back to being belittled by Pharaoh. Let's go back to being not even being second-class citizens. Let's go back there. Is what they said. After they ain't been there yet. They ain't even gone to the promised land yet. Only Moses ain't seen it yet. The leader that brought them through the Red Sea ain't seen them yet. 10 people out of 6 million people, 10 people said, let's go back. And got convinced 6 million people that said, let's go back to being slaves. Why? Because slavery they knew. Slavery they mastered. As a matter of fact, as slaves, that was the only thing they could master, was being slaves. They knew it, and so they said, let's go back to what we know. Let's go back. Hey, at least we had, and they remember, I think later on, they started talking about at least we had cucumbers. Remember they said they had cucumbers there and all. I was like, so what, you had some cucumber? We talking about milk and honey over here, and you talking about some cucumbers over here. Shoot, I need to eat more salads, but But shoot, the honey boy tastes much better than them salads, boy. They said, let us go back to what we know. And let's go back to where we feel like our protection is. Because at least there, the Egyptians weren't trying to kill us all because they killed us all. They had nobody to build their pyramids. They were just trying to subdue us enough so that we would help build their pyramids. Here you're talking about going into a land with giants and all kinds of stuff, and you're telling us to go and fight there, and we're going to risk our lives doing that. Like what they always say, were there not enough graves in Egypt that you would bring us out here to die? The flesh is designed to protect itself. Number 2. So we'll say number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Fear draws from your perception of the unknown based on the past experiences. Fear draws from your perception of the unknown based on the past experiences. Hold on. Fear draws from your perception of the first. Okay, let's deal with this. Fear draws first from your perception of the unknown. Let's go here first. All right. Fear draws from your perception of the unknown. Example. Up until I was about 10 or 11 years old, I was afraid of flying on a plane. I was afraid of flying on airplanes. I had never flown on an airplane before. So how do I know how bad the airplane flight is going to be? I've never flown on an airplane before. Draws on your perception of the unknown. What based on past experiences? How does the based on past experiences fit in? My parents have always told me, and I do. I have a fear of heights. I have a fear of heights, and it's bad. it really is bad. Y'all thought I ain't like wasp heights. At least I can get the wasp spray and kill the wasp. Heights I can't do nothing about. My mother told me that even as most babies, when you pick them up and hold them like this, they smile and stuff and they like it. My mother said when they used to hold me up here, that I would tense up and begin to cry. They said that that's how, they said that my fear of heights actually has been all the way back there.
Wow.
All the way back there to the point that now, my mother doesn't know why. They think that there's a chance that somebody may have dropped me in that day and they didn't know. They just don't know why. They don't know why I was doing that as a baby. My sisters didn't do that when they held my sisters up when they were babies, and I did that. And they were look at me being transparent. So here's the deal. Of course, I was afraid of flying then, and afraid of getting on a plane. And my first plane ride, I was terrified. I was terrified, hands sweaty, just afraid. Now, I wasn't gonna cry. I was 10 years old then. When you were 10 years old, they got a rule. When you're a boy, you're 10 years old, you ain't supposed to cry. So I didn't cry. But I was afraid. I was afraid of it going up, and I was afraid of it coming down. I was afraid of it. My wife will tell you now, if you gave me the choice now between flying and driving, it is flying all the way though. Because shoot, I can't drive to Alaska. It's just too far. It's just too far, But my fear of flying was based on the past experience of being afraid of heights. All right. This is what the Israelites were when they were saying we're grasshoppers and they're giants. They said we feel like as we perceive ourselves to be grasshoppers compared to them being giants. And what happened is, what happens is they were relying on a past experience they had with Egypt beating them. I think I brought this up last week, that the problem that the Israelites had, the thing about it is the Israelites probably outnumbered the Egyptians. So why did they say it was 6 billion people total? They thought that they estimate there's about 2 to 3 billion men. Why didn't those 2 to 3 million men rise up, and say, all right, we just go join forces and just start picking them off and start beating folks down? Why didn't they do that? Because they were slaves up here.
Amen.
They were slaves up here. You know why they were slaves up here? Because guess what? By the time Moses came on the scene, all of them had been born slaves. Their parents were probably slaves. Their grandparents were slaves. Their great-grandparents were probably slaves. Their great-great-grandparents were probably slaves. There were probably several generations of them being slaves. So slavery was all they knew. It's kind of like African Americans when we were slaves, and they announced on the Emancipation Proclamation, there was some slaves that did not know, and they stayed on that plantation and worked, not knowing that they were free. Because guess what? Slavery was all they knew. So when that's all you know, then that's all your brain has seen. That's all you know. The only thing you know to do is to be a slave. Now you telling me I was free, but I still got to go fight these giants over here. Failed before. Someone say failed before.
Failed before.
Fear draws from your perception of the unknown based on the past experiences, past failures. It's like you meeting somebody new and getting into a relationship and you think that person is just too good to be true. And you think and you want to get in a relationship, but you want to be excited, but you guard yourself from getting too excited because, hey, I've been here before, I've been excited before, and now look, here I am again, about to get excited again, but is this going to be like the last time? So what you do? You draw back. Because remember, your flesh is designed to protect itself.
Amen. Amen.
So you don't give your all in things.
Amen.
Because you had past failures, and because there's something in you trying to protect itself. All right, 7:32. I got a little bit of time. Flesh is designed to protect itself. Fear draws from your perception of the unknown based on the past experience. Number 3. Someone say number 3.
Number 3.
Fear
Fear
is contagious.
Is contagious.
Fear is contagious.
Teach me.
How do I know this? Easy. The spies taught us. The spies said that in Numbers chapter 13 that we just read.
Okay.
It was 10 of them that said, "Hey, we're grasshoppers," and they convinced this other 6 million that they were grasshoppers. Children of Anak were giants, but they weren't. I think when we think giant, we think like Jack and the Beanstalk giant, real huge, real big. I'm a little man that can stand on the giant's nose. Goliath was about 9 feet tall. Goliath was about 9 feet tall. You think this ceiling is about 10 feet? Maybe about 10 feet? If the ceiling is 10 feet, then he was a foot shorter than the ceiling. You telling me 5 or 6 of us can't take the giant down by ourselves? I watched wrestling, I used to watch wrestling. I used to love it. And there was Andre the Giant. Y'all remember Andre the Giant, the 8th wonder of the world? 7'4", 500 pounds. Hulk Hogan slammed him. Now we got the Big Show. Big Show is just as big as the Giant. Big Show's a big dude. That's a big dude. But guess what? Wrestling is fake. We know that. But guess what? What if the Big Show going up against the Rock, Stone Cold, and Triple H? He probably gonna lose. Yeah, he gonna lose. It's gonna be a rock bottom, a pedigree, and a Stone Cold Stunner. All at once. He gonna get hit with all of them. Y'all so silly. But the fear that the spies spread was contagious. They gave their fear to them. People are able to project their fear on you.
Jesus.
Have you ever talked to somebody? Have you ever had an idea? It was a good idea. And you told somebody, I got this good idea, and I'm going to try it. It's a great idea. And it was a great idea. But then the person started telling you about how, to be scared of the idea. Because they're afraid, because at some point they may have had an idea similar like that, and they were afraid to try it. So they don't really want you to try it because it make them feel some kind of way because they didn't try it. That's why you have to be careful who you tell your visions to, who your dreams to, your goals to. Because if you tell them to the wrong people, they'll try to tell you how much your dream, your goal will be a failure, and they will have projected their fear onto you. It's kind of like that one person that come in the office and they never call in sick, but they done came into work sick because they ain't going. They can't call in sick for whatever reason, and so they coughing and sneezing, and then little by little everybody start going down. That's the same way with fear. All right, so we said flesh is designed to protect itself. Fear draws from your perception of the unknown based on the past experiences. Fear is contagious. Number 4. Someone say number 4.
Number 4.
Fear is not designed to help you advance.
Amen.
Fear is not designed to help you advance.
Amen. Glory to God.
Fear has a very close first cousin. And his first cousin is doubt. They might be brothers, they might be siblings. How close they operate. So it's hard for you to advance and move forward. Fear is never, you'll never be scared into moving forward. You're only scared into standing still. You're only scared into moving backwards. You're only scared to going back to where you came from. I've said this so many times over the years I've preached. So many people are scared of the next level because they always say new level, a new devil. And what happens is they have learned to conquer the devils on this level and the levels before, and they don't want to go to the next level and have to fight another devil that's going to be at a whole nother level. But the same God that was with you on this level is the same God at the next level.
Hey.
Fear is not designed to help you advance. So we got what we said. What was number 1? The flesh.
Your flesh is designed
to protect itself. 2, fear draws
from your
perception of the unknown based on the past experiences. 3, fear is contagious. 4, fear is not designed to help you. Number 5. Y'all ready? Number 5.
Yes.
Fear is based on common sense, not God's reality. Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14. Let's go and read, start at verse number 22. Let's go to number 22. How much time I got left? I got 6 minutes here. Verse number 22, it says, as straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him onto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. We heard this story since we were little kids. Jesus said, after teaching multitudes, when Jesus would teach the multitudes, he would be on the boat, would be in the water. Jesus would stand would teach from the boat in the water because they'd be all spread out. So he'd be on the boat so they could see him. And after that he sent the multitudes away, and they left. Jesus stayed on the mountain to pray, and Jesus told them, we're going to the other side. So they left Jesus, They left Jesus praying and decided to go and start a ship that started sailing. And what ended up happening was a storm came. And when the storm came, of course they got scared, got afraid, and Jesus started walking on the water. Jesus walked on the water, and they got scared, talking about it must be a ghost. They ain't never seen because they ain't never, but fear based on the unknown. They ain't never seen no man walk on no water, right? And they ain't never been done in Scripture. There's no evidence that it's happened. And so Jesus said, don't be afraid, it's me. We good, y'all good. And Peter said, if it's really you bid me to come. Jesus said, come. And Peter got out of the boat and started walking on the water. The thing that messed Peter up was Peter started looking around. He started looking around and started realizing, ain't nobody ever walked on no water before. This is crazy. And so he started seeing the winds and all that stuff, and that's what he started to see, because he started to get afraid thinking about the common sense. Now listen, we can talk bad Peter about all you want to, but Peter was the only one that got out that boat. What the other disciples do? They was all sitting there, we ain't getting out there in that water, y'all crazy. Dude, you crazy, I ain't getting out there in that water. For all we know, that really is a ghost, and that ain't no Jesus. Peter took the step that says, well, if it's you, let me try it. But what was Peter lost the boldness that he had when he got off the ship, and he started to get afraid because he started to calculate in his mind what he was doing. And when he realized what he was doing, he started to get afraid because he knew that this was impossible to do. Understand this, and the things that God will have you step out on. So a lot of times God will have you do things that just doesn't make sense to anybody.
Yes, Lord.
And you just have to, it don't make sense to nobody, and you have to step out there and do it, and then you have to trust Jesus all the way through it. And it's hard because at some point you're going to start looking around saying, this don't make no sense.
All the way through.
My God, my God, my God.
You start to realize it don't make no sense.